Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Tonight is a special night because this is our final night before we begin our journey tomorrow. But before we get there, I want to plant one more seed. We planted the seed of purpose, the seed of determination, the seed of resilience. We've talked about service, we've talked about compassion, and tonight we're going to plant a seed of preparation. All right. And so I think this is the perfect seed to plant before we start talking about caregiving. Because life has taught me this: life doesn't always give you time to get ready. Sometimes you have to prepare before you need the preparation. What does preparation really mean? When I say preparation, I'm not talking about having everything figured out. I'm not talking about knowing every answer. And I'm definitely not talking about having a perfect plan, although we'd like to think we have one, but then we find out that we don't. So, preparation simply means that I'm willing and I'm ready. I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to ask questions. I'm willing to have conversations that may be uncomfortable. And I'm willing to find resources before I'm standing in the middle of a crisis trying to figure everything out. That's what we call preparation. Okay. Sometimes caregiving just happens. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about preparation tonight is because caregiving doesn't always give you a warning. Most people don't wake up one morning and say, today's the day I'm going to become a caregiver. But it can happen, or it can happen gradually. Maybe mom starts needing a little more help around the house. Maybe dad shouldn't be driving anymore. Maybe your spouse needs surgery. Maybe someone falls. We don't want that. Maybe someone comes from the hospital and suddenly needs assistance. Maybe grandma is forgetting things she never used to forget, or grandpa. Or maybe someone who has always been independent suddenly needs you. And before you know it, you're a caregiver. You may not have a title, you may not be getting paid, you may not even have any formal training, you may not even call yourself a caregiver. You just know somebody you know needs love and help. That's why preparation matters. So, preparing before a crisis, we try our best to do. And as a nurse, I've seen families try to make major decisions during some of the most stressful moments in their lives. And sometimes they're trying to answer questions that nobody ever asked before or talked about. What medications do we take? Who is the doctor? What insurance do they have? Where's the paperwork? Does dad have any advance directives? Who has permission to make the decisions? What happens if mom can't live alone anymore? Who can help us? What services are available? What can we afford? Where do we even start? Those are hard questions to answer when everybody is already scared, tired, and overwhelmed. That's why preparation doesn't begin or shouldn't begin with an emergency. Preparation needs to start right now with one conversation. Preparation can be very simple. You don't have to create a big giant binder tonight. Just start something small. Know what medications your loved one takes, know who their doctors are, know where their important documents are kept, know who should be contacted in case of an emergency. Talk about what your loved one wants. Ask questions. Write things down. Learn what resources are available in your community. And most importantly, don't wait until everything is falling apart before you start asking questions and talking. Preparation doesn't eliminate every problem, but preparation can make a difficult situation less confusing. So, caregivers need to be prepared too. Now, there's another part of preparation that I don't want us to forget. We spend a lot of time preparing to care for other people that sometimes we forget to care about the caregiver. If you're going to care for someone, somebody else, you also need to think about is who helps you. Who can help you when you need a break? Who knows what's going on? Who can step in if you get sick? Are you getting enough rest? Are you asking for help? Because being prepared does not mean I'll do everything all by myself. Sometimes being prepared is knowing when to say, I need some help. And there is a lot of wisdom in that, you guys, because sometimes we forget about that. We get so busy doing that we forget to ask. So let's talk about the seeds that we planted. I want you to look at how everything that we've been talking about connects. Purpose gives us direction. Determination tells us to keep going. Resilience helps us to get back up when life doesn't go according to plan. Service reminds us that what we have can be used to help someone else. Compassion reminds us to see the person, not just the task. And now, preparation helps us to get ready and put all of those things together. And I haven't forgotten the other C's that we've talked about along the way. We've talked about faith, hope, courage, leadership, community, wellness, innovation, influence, and protection. And all of the other seeds that we've introduced. So we're not throwing those seeds away. We're going to keep watering them. We're going to keep coming back to them because planting seeds is bigger than one event. Tomorrow, something new begins. And now we're ready to take that next step. Tomorrow is Sunday, August 16th, and we're going to start the ABCs of caregiving. 26 letters, 26 days, 26 conversations. We're going from A all the way to Z. And we're going to talk about caregiving in a way that's simple, practical, and understandable. Because you shouldn't have to be a nurse to understand how to be a better caregiver to take care of someone that you love or care about. You shouldn't have to wait until you're overwhelmed to start learning. And you shouldn't have to figure everything out by yourself. This series is for you. Now, maybe you're already caring for someone. This is for you. Maybe your parents are getting older and you're starting to notice some changes. This is for you. Maybe you're helping a spouse. Yep, this could be for you too. So maybe you're helping a grandparent, a neighbor, a friend, or a church member. And maybe somebody needs your help right now. Guess what? This is also for you. So because that's what tonight is all about, preparation, we want to learn it before we actually need it. We don't want to wait until a crisis to start thinking about when to do all these things. Let's prepare before we get overwhelmed. So the seeds aren't ending. Again, I just want to reiterate that. Before I leave tonight, I just want to make something very clear. Planting seeds is not ending, as I just said. Tomorrow we'll continue what we've been talking about. Tomorrow is a part of it because whatever happens, we always plant a seed. It grows. And we've been doing a lot of planning. We're going to start putting some of the seeds that we planted into action, from seeds to service. One act, one heart, one person at a time. So there's a question that I want to leave you with. If someone you love suddenly needs a caregiver, tomorrow, would you feel prepared? I know that's a big question. It's something to think about because it could happen to any of us. Not perfect, not an expert, just prepared enough to know where to begin. If your answer is no, that's okay. Because tomorrow we're going to start learning together. One letter, one topic, one day at a time. So in closing, I just want to reiterate that we've planted purpose, determination, resilience, service, compassion, and tonight we've talked about being prepared. Tomorrow we begin our series of A through Z. And I hope that this walk through this 26-day journey that we learn something about each other, that you invite someone else if you think that they can use this information, even if it's your parents or an aunt or a neighbor. Even if they don't need the information today, we'll plant that seed because you never know when someone we love may need to use something that we're going to learn. So we're going to keep planting, keep growing, keep serving, keep caring, keep preparing, because sometimes a mustard seed is all I need. I'm so excited about this, you guys, because as I've said before, I am a caregiver at heart. I absolutely love what I do. I love learning. I love sharing. I love teaching. I love being an advocate. And I'm so excited about this new platform going live and being able to interact with others in the comments. So even if you're live right now and you don't have a question right now, if something comes up later, please feel free to put that in the chat. Because as I said, I do not know everything, and I'll be the first one to tell you when I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything because I don't. As a matter of fact, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. But I do know a group of people that I am friends with, that I can reach out to: nurse practitioners, doctors, social workers. I mean, whether it's in psych or whatever field, because I've got a background in critical care, psych, behavioral health, oncology. And so if you have any question about anything, I want you to feel free to reach out. Now, I think I have a visitor. And so I just want to, reiterate that this is a platform for me to be able to offer what God has blessed me with, the opportunity to help others and to be a caregiver. And I know that it can happen suddenly. It can be very overwhelming if we're not prepared. And I'm not implying that you'll learn every single thing that you need to know on these conversations, but I can promise you that I will share information with you that will be helpful. And I'm also going to present an emergency kit that we should all have in our homes. We should all have one of those in our home. We should have one in our car. If God forbid there's a flood or a fire, we want to make sure that you have all your papers, that you have flashlights, food, water, etc. And I'm going to go over all that as part of the ABCs as well, because I want to feel prepared. I want you guys to feel prepared if something comes up, that you can just grab that bag and go if you need to. Because again, like floods, tornadoes, those things happen, and sometimes we don't have a whole lot of notice. But if you have your papers in a secure container that's either fireproof or waterproof, your insurance paperwork, important papers to your family, and then flashlights, food, medication, all your important medication, all those things in one place, then you can grab it and go if you need to. Now, Lord knows I don't want there to be an emergency where any of us will have to use that. But I know we've all seen those horror stories on TV where they go, oh my gosh, and they only had so much time to evacuate and they've lost all their belongings. Well, we can replace things, but some things we have to have, like those insurance paperwork and important documents and so forth. So that's something else that I'm excited that I want to share with you guys. So I just wanted to come on real quick and let you guys know that we are going to start the ABCs of caregiving tomorrow, and that'll go 26 days. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to some questions, exchanging some information. And so that was pretty much what I wanted to. So as far as how many supplies, I would say at least 7 to 10 days worth. A minimum of 7 days is where I would start. But if you can, the one thing, I'm glad you asked that question. Thank you so much. Because with caregiving, what we have to realize is that some of our loved ones that we may be caring for and that we may need to make sure they have those bags packed, you don't want it to be too heavy. Because if grandma or grandpa or one of our aunts or uncles has the bag packed and there's an emergency and they can't pick it up, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of packing it. So although we say 7 to 10 days, you want to be minimal. Just make sure there's enough food, pack food that are light, not a lot of canned goods because those would be heavy. And then you could also make sure that you have a wagon with wheels on it if you do need to put supplies in there that may be too heavy for that loved one to carry. You can buy these nice little wagons with wheels on them and just keep the emergency bag in there, and they can pull it out of the door rather than having to carry it. Or an old piece of luggage you can get from the Goodwill. You can get those, if you're on a budget, you can get some luggage, one of the little rollable luggage containers, and put it in there like the size of a carry-on. And you can put some food in there, Band-Aids, medication, undergarments, ice packs, things of that, batteries, solar powered things. So you can get quite a bit in there. And I'm going to go over all that. I'm going to review it. But I would say 7 days, at least 7 days. But just be careful because you don't want it to be too heavy. Because if you have someone with like arthritis or something like that, they may not be able to carry it or pick it up. So we just want to be mindful of those things when we're packing it. So the kinds of food that I would recommend would be something with some protein. You want to try to get all your four food groups in there. So you could do some peanut butter or some protein. You could do some. Now, depending on if you had the capability, like some matches or something like that, you could take like some beans or something if you want them warm. But you can actually eat beans out of the can. So you want to make sure that you have some vegetables in there. I would say what we got to get something that's non-perishable. So you could get some of the you could get canned goods in that case for the vegetables, some green beans. So you want to have all colors of the rainbow when we talk about food, right? We want to have some protein, you want to have something orange, something green, something yellow, and you can get a little can of mixed vegetables for that. So protein, vegetables, some water. You want to have enough water for at least 7 days. And then you said what other kind of food? So I would say mainly just make sure you have some protein and some veggies in there and water. I wouldn't worry about too much pasta and chips unless you have kids. You want to pack some snacks for the kids because we all know that kids like snacks. But you want to try and do healthy things, not things that are high in salt because if it's hot, that could cause water retention, and you want to be careful of what kinds of foods you put in there. They like snacks. The good thing about kids though is you can get those little. I love these little fruit snacks that they make. Put them some fruit snacks in there. Those are made out of real fruit, and a lot of people dry their own fruit snacks. So as far as water is concerned, that's an interesting question too. I'm glad that you did ask that because I have a background in hospice as well. And one of the things, I know we're not talking about hospice, but one of the first questions that families will ask is, well, gosh, what if they're not eating or what if they're not drinking? And surprisingly, we can go a long time without food, right? We can go really up to about 30 days without food because most of us have enough reserve. But the one thing we can't go without is water. So our body cannot sustain itself or our organs for more than 7 days without water. So it's back to that 7 day. I would say have at least 7 days worth. And you could do a gallon or we bought online, we bought some little and I'll put that in, I'll show you guys that as well, where you can sterilize the water, so that way you wouldn't necessarily have to pack a lot of heavy water. You could use water in a stream if you're near a stream or something like that, and it'll sanitize it for you. And some people are like super creative, they use rocks and sand and tar and all this other stuff and filter the water out that way. But they have a lot of cool stuff on Amazon that you can buy now that will get some of the bacteria and stuff out of the water. And rainwater is always good too. So I would say at least 7 days. 7 days is going to be my starting point on the water and the food. Thank you so much for those questions. I'm really excited about this emergency kit because there's some really cool things you can put in there. And it's kind of fun because I like to camp. It reminds me of going camping. We camped a lot when I was a kid, so I like packing bags like that. But I will go over that as well next week. Thank you so much for those questions. And then, you would want to have some clothes. You would want to have something that's perhaps waterproof in case it rained or something like that. Something to keep you warm at night, perhaps a sleeping bag. Let's see, it would be good if you could sell that kit. You mean me sell it? Oh, yeah. That's a thought. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I might just look into that because they really, flashlights and yes, I actually do have a community on the school platform. It's called I just went blank. Oh, it's a Business After 60. It's on the school platform. I don't know how to post that in here. I have to figure out how to put that in there. Yes, I am on the school, and it's a free community, and we have a lot of resources in there and tools that we're going to be sharing more things in there. Thank you. Yeah, I will definitely go over that kit. I'm excited about that. I'll definitely keep in mind, Kevin, all the questions that you brought up about the food and the water. I'll make sure that I mention that. But yes, we can go, a good little time, at least a couple of weeks without food. We really can go 30, but it just depends on the person. And, like I've got a lot of reserve, so I could easily go 30 days without food, but not without water. Our body cannot sustain itself 7 days. At 7 days, actually before that, the body is going to start shutting down if we're not getting an ample amount of water. So I'm so excited that you joined. Thank you so much. I'm excited because this is a new platform and I love learning, as I said before. And I'm just excited about the questions that I'll get and the answers that I'll be able to bring back to you guys. And if there's any resources, I'm going to be posting some resources as well, free little PDFs. Again, it's not medical advice. I am not implying not to see a doctor, go to see your checkups, take your medication. That's not what this platform is about. This platform is just about educating caregivers so they'll know what to do if, God forbid, they have to take care of a loved one. Because it's a lot, and people don't really understand all the things that go into it until they're actually the situation happens. What we have mentioned about the medications, most people don't know, what medications are life threatening and what aren't, what you can really go without, like heart medications. No, can't go without that. But like some of the over the counter vitamins and stuff like that, yeah, we can probably go without that and just eat a balanced diet if we had to. I'm not suggesting you stop your medication. These are just some this is just general information that I'm going to be providing to the caregivers. Could you do another video that shows an example of a bag you were talking about? Absolutely. Yes, I'll be happy to do that. As a matter of fact, I just have a few other things that I want to put in there. But yes, I'll probably do that. I'm not sure which letter of the out, maybe for E. Maybe we'll do that under E, for the letter E for emergency bag. That's the day. And it's a 26 days. So ABCD, that's about day 7. Oh, 5 days. So that'll be 6 days from now. We'll go over that emergency bag. I'll be excited to do that because it's something that we all need. And they say really that you should have one in the house and one in the car, because what if you're out somewhere and you can't get back in the house because, please Lord, no, but what if there's a fire or a flood and you can't even get back in the house? So yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. And I worked today. I was so excited to come home and do this. I work 12-hour shifts, and it just dawned on me today that, gosh, when you work 3 12-hour shifts in a row, that's like a 40-hour week almost for most people that work a 40-hour week in 5 days. And nurses, we do long 12-hour shifts. That's not a complaint. It's just an observation of how dedicated I am to this and how much I love what I do. I really do. And so I was excited, and I'm excited just about going forward on this. So, yeah, I worked today, and I worked yesterday, and I work tomorrow. So, but I'll be back on tomorrow to share some information with you guys. And I'm so grateful for everybody that's joining in and all the questions that I get. Thank you so very much. Any other questions about anything? Thank you so very much. You made my night. Okay, thank you so much. And God bless you and love on your loved ones, because today is all we have. We don't want to worry about the future. We want to enjoy today and tell the people that you love them, and love yourself, because it's hard. This world can be hard sometimes, but it's a blessing to be here. Thank you so much, Kevin. I've got a new friend. And God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful night. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, because I'll be back tomorrow for the next 27 days. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.